I think that when Bob Dylan wrote the lyrics to that song, I didn't sing it to you, by the way. When Bob Dylan wrote that, it was printed in 1979, he understood the idea that repetition can be helpful. And I think you got the idea, you're going to have to serve somebody. And Bob Dylan isn't the first person to come up with this idea, but the Apostle Paul also said something that's not altogether different from what Dylan had to say. And we find it in the book of Romans chapter 6. Book of Romans chapter 6. And once again, I'm going to start at the end of the chapter and then move back to the front of the chapter and take things out of sequence just a little bit. But in Romans chapter 6 and coming down to verse 16, and this is page 1607, if you use the Bibles provided by the church, it says, "Don't you know that you offer yourselves to someone as obedient slaves?" In other words, he's saying, you're going to offer yourself as a slave to somebody. You're going to serve somebody. Don't you know that when you offer yourself to someone as obedient slaves, you are slaves to the one you obey, whether you are slaves to sin, which leads to death, or to obedience, which leads to righteousness. But thanks be to God that though you used to be slaves to sin, you have come to obey from your heart the pattern of teaching that has now claimed your allegiance. You have been set free from sin and have become slaves to righteousness.